Election day is right around the corner. Voting has already started.
I am here to ask you to vote.
It's our duty to get out and vote.
It's easy to forget your duties as a citizen.
And we've been busy debunking misinformation.
So if you get a call from a campaign out of the blue, it's probably not because your info was hacked or leaked. They legally got it from the government.
We want to make sure you're armed with facts.
The voting system is not connected to the internet or any other system in any way.
And know what's real and what's not as you head to the ballot box.
It was actually lifted from what we think is a TikTok video, which was a compilation of anti-Biden chants.
Plus, the price for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is going up. How much will you have to pay to stay safe? Gobble, gobble, gone? Will the U.S. really be out of diesel fuel by Thanksgiving? And do you really swallow spiders in your sleep? The truth about that urban legend and more coming up on Verify This.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us for Verify This, where we separate fact from fiction and answer your questions so that you can help determine what's true and false. I'm your host, Ariane Till. Our team of researchers, reporters, and producers are all across the country working hard to get verified answers to your questions. So let's get started.
It's essential that everybody, it's our duty to get out and vote and make our vote count.
Things across the federal, state, and local level can be impacted by these elections, and that's why it's so important that everyone votes.
If you don't vote, then you can't complain about anything.
Voting is underway in the midterm elections, and all of the candidates are pitching their plans for why they deserve your vote. Verify viewer Ruth came across a political post claiming to show the GOP's policy plan if it wins back control of the House. What really caught her attention? A major cut to Social Security and Medicare. She asked us to verify if the post is legit. Ruth is our first viewer spotlight of the show. Brandon Lewis has her answer.
In September, House Republicans released their Commitment to America plan to lay out the GOP's policies if they win control of the House. Then, in mid-October, people on social media began sharing an image that claims to show bullet points of the plan, which includes restricting eligibility for Social Security and Medicare. Verify viewer Ruth emailed us to ask if this is true. So, let's verify. Does the House Republicans' Commitment to America plan specify cuts to Social Security and Medicare, like the viral graphic shows? Our sources are the Commitment to America plan, reverse image search tool TinEye, and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's office. In the Republican Commitment to America plan released in September, the text only says they will strengthen Social Security and Medicare. It makes no reference to restricting eligibility, as claimed in the viral graphic. We then did a reverse image search with TinEye for the graphic and did not find it shared by any official House GOP accounts or Republican members of Congress. A spokesperson for McCarthy tells Verify the image is fabricated and contains false information. So, no, the House Republicans' Commitment to America plan does not specify cuts to Social Security and Medicare. The viral graphic is fabricated. Last year, the Republican Study Committee, a House GOP caucus group, proposed a federal budget that raised the Social Security retirement age to 70. This year, the RSC suggested increasing the eligibility age for Medicare, although it didn't specify a specific number. Neither of these proposals are included in the current GOP plan. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Every year on Election Day, people gather around the TV and wait for the election results to come in. The anticipation and the anxiety of wanting to know who will win, well, it can be overwhelming. But what about those races that aren't called on Election Day? I mean, sometimes it feels more like election week. Well, Casey Decker explains why that actually happens.
It's called Election Day, not Election Week. So how come we don't get some results for days? It's because elections are run state by state, county by county. Some offices might have more staff or counting machines or fewer ballots. They also have different rules. Like if mail-in ballots arrive early, some states count them in advance. Some start the morning of Election Day and others wait until the polls close. States also have different deadlines for when exactly mail-in ballots are due and when the results have to be finalized. So it's normal if some results take longer. That's how those states assure every vote is counted.
We also asked Casey to get you up to speed about how your personal information is used when you register to vote. Here's what he found.
When you register to vote, you provide all kinds of personal info to your state. Name, address, maybe which party you want to register with. And some or all of that information, including which elections you voted in, typically becomes public record. In some states, that info is heavily redacted, may only be available to certain people or only available in person. But in others, anyone can download the data with a few clicks. It's often used by political candidates to find their target voters. So if you get a call from a campaign out of the blue, it's probably not because your info was hacked or leaked. They legally got it from the government. But who you actually voted for, that's kept secret.
Next up, check out this viral video. It appears to show former President Barack Obama responding to a crowd chanting an anti-Joe Biden slogan. It supposedly happened during a rally in Detroit on October 29th. Take a listen.
Hold on a minute.
That video has millions of views on Twitter. So you know what we did? We called in Verify reporter Kelly Jones to look into it. Kelly Jones, that audio sounded awfully familiar. Where have I heard this before?
You've actually heard it in a lot of recent manipulated videos. Most recently, the video of Jill Biden allegedly being booed during the Philadelphia Eagles-Dallas Cowboys Sunday night football game.
I remember that one. Now let's zoom in on this Obama video. Where did you first see it on social media?
We've been monitoring for misinformation during the midterm elections and keeping an eye on obviously manipulated videos and images. So when I got an alert that there were some hecklers at an Obama event in Michigan, I went to the internet and searched to see if there was any video that could corroborate that. And then I stumbled upon this manipulated video that had millions of views.
So walk me through how you figured out that the manipulated audio from the Jill Biden video was reused in this viral Obama video.
Well, first we looked at the original footage from the Obama event, which was streamed live to YouTube and also was covered by several news outlets. And then we took a listen to the manipulated video, or what we thought was manipulated. And because I listened for hours of anti-Biden chants on TikTok, I was able to confirm that the tone and the pitch matched the same tone and pitch that was used in the Jill Biden manipulated video.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember that in the Jill Biden video, the chants, the anti-Joe Biden chants that they were doing came from a University of Kentucky football game. Is that right?
That is right. And it was actually lifted from what we think is a TikTok video, which was a compilation of anti-Biden chants. And if you take a listen to the clips, you can definitely hear the similarities.
Wait, come on. But this is what I mean.
All right, I can definitely hear some similarities in those different clips, but what about the differences in them?
So for the Jill Biden video from the Sunday night football game, they actually created that video using audio from separate tracks. So an audio from Booze and the audio from the Kentucky game. However, in this Obama clip, they only used the chanting audio over top of his actual speech.
Kelly Jones, thank you so much for always helping us debunk misinformation.
Thanks, Ariane.
Time now for a round of fast facts about viral elections claims. Here we go. Churches, they have one of the best deals on federal taxes. They don't have to pay them, nor do they have to file annual paperwork. But a tweet with more than 16,000 likes claims they can lose their tax-exempt status by backing a political candidate. And that claim is true. Millions of people mail in their ballots on or before November 8th. And for many voters, this means figuring out how much postage they need to use before they drop their ballot in the mail. A viewer asked us, if you put the wrong amount of postage on your ballot, will the U.S. Postal Service still deliver it? And we can verify that's true. They will. Some people online have claimed that the Biden administration is now secretly flying migrants throughout the United States. And we can verify it's true. The federal government does transport migrants to other states. This includes uniting unaccompanied children with their families or sponsors and transporting adult migrants between U.S. detention centers. But this isn't a secret. This has occurred under the last 4 presidents. Pfizer is one of 2 companies offering an updated COVID-19 vaccine booster for the BA4 and BA5 Omicron subvariants. The shots are currently paid for by the federal government and available free of charge for all Americans, regardless of a person's health insurance status. But that could change in 2023. Viral posts say Pfizer is planning to hike the price of their shots by 400%. So how much could it cost you to keep yourself protected against COVID-19? Here's what we found. The federal government currently pays for COVID shots for all Americans regardless of health insurance status. But that is expected to end soon. And recently, people on social media have claimed that Pfizer is planning to raise the cost of its COVID shot by 400%. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are Angela Lukin, Pfizer's U.S. president, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Kaiser Family Foundation. In June 2022, HHS purchased 105 million doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for $3.2 billion. Right now, Americans can get one of those vaccines for free. But for the federal government to continue covering the cost of COVID-19 vaccines, Congress would need to approve additional funding. And that hasn't happened yet. So once the government supply runs out, the manufacturing, procurement, and pricing of the vaccines will transition to the private sector, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. This is a common practice for many pharmaceutical products, and it usually results in a higher price of the product. In Pfizer's case, they say the vaccine price will increase from $30 per dose, which is what the government paid, to anywhere between $110 and $130. That is a 400% jump. Pfizer's U.S. President Angela Lukin said the higher price point is because of the higher cost related to switching from multiple dose vials to individually packaged doses and commercial distribution. Americans with private or government insurance, such as Medicare or Medicaid, should still be able to get the vaccine for free, according to Pfizer. People without insurance, however, might have a harder time finding free shots. So we can verify, yes, Pfizer is planning to increase the cost of its COVID-19 vaccine by as much as 400%. But people with insurance will likely still be able to receive the vaccine for free. Next, diesel fuel powers the American economy. But now rumors are circulating on the internet that the U.S. will run out of diesel fuel before Thanksgiving, leaving some businesses without the fuel they need to get by. And Americans are speaking out about it.
Obviously, our trucks can't move without that fuel, and so it goes directly, again, into that rate that we have to charge our customers, which then gets this passed down to the consumer.
It's going to be really critical for, I guess, the whole farm community for the next couple of weeks and maybe another month.
There's a lot of undocumented stuff that says we're in a crisis. But our vendors are reporting to us there is no crisis.
Verify viewer Robert texted us to ask if these claims have any real fuel behind them. Robert is our viewer spotlight of the show. Here's what we found. From toilet paper to baby formula and even prescription drugs, shortages have become the norm for Americans during the pandemic. And now some people online are claiming that diesel fuel is the latest product in short supply and that the U.S. will run out by Thanksgiving. Several Verify viewers, including Robert, asked us if the United States will run out of diesel fuel in 25 days. So let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. Energy Information Administration and 3 energy experts. Verify traced the 25-day supply claim back to this data from the U.S. Energy Information Administration, which shows that for the week ending October 21st, the U.S. has 25.9 days worth of supply of diesel fuel, which is the lowest it's been since 2008, when supply was down to 24.5. But oil experts, including Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis for GasBuddy, tell Verify that this number doesn't mean that the U.S. will run out of diesel fuel in under a month.
It's completely inaccurate. First of all, the number is used as an industry benchmark to look at overall supply and demand balances. The U.S. is not going to run out in 25 days.
Here's what that number actually means. The day's worth of supply metric measures how much diesel fuel the country has available if all domestic production and imports stopped. But our experts say that's not happening, in part because every day we're producing more diesel, according to oil expert Andy Lippow. The 25.9 days worth of supply number that people are questioning is calculated by taking U.S. inventory and dividing it by daily demand. It doesn't paint the full picture of how much diesel fuel the United States can actually access. So we can verify, no, the U.S. isn't going to run out of diesel fuel in 25 days. If you see or hear something that you want us to verify, there are a few ways that you can send us your question. You can text us at 202-410-8808. You can also record yourself asking the question on your phone and then email it to us at questions@verifythis.com. Oh, did you hear that? That sound means it's time for our first Did You Know of the show. where we feature one relatively unknown interesting fact that we, of course, have verified. But first, we make you guess the answer. So here goes. Did you know there is only one letter in the alphabet that doesn't appear in any U.S. state? Which letter do you think it is? Is it J, X, or Q? I went down to American University in D.C. to see if those bright young minds could figure it out.
Dang, I knew this. Man.
You still do.
I thought I know this, but I didn't.
Take a guess, take a guess.
I'm guessing it's somewhere in my brain.
It's right there.
I'm gonna go for it.
You got this.
No, wait, just give me a second. I know this. X?
Ooh!
I wanna say Q.
Ding, 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 ding! If you liked that Did You Know, sign up for our daily newsletter. It has a new Did You Know every day, as well as 3 fast facts and more of our most recent stories. To sign up, go to verifythis.com/email. Next, the hashtag boycott PayPal went viral this month after the online payment site shared a document that said it could fine users for spreading misinformation. Brandon Lewis looks into whether that is really happening.
PayPal is one of the most popular online payment methods, but some users threatened to leave the service recently after they claimed the company will fine people for spreading misinformation. The allegation prompted the hashtag boycott PayPal. So let's verify. Did PayPal reinstate a $2,500 fine for spreading misinformation? Our sources are the digital archive tool The Wayback Machine and PayPal. PayPal doesn't fine users. Its terms of service allow the company to take up to $2,500 from merchant accounts to settle disputes with customers. In early October, PayPal posted a document that added spreading misinformation as a policy violation that would allow customers to win disputes. PayPal quickly removed the document after it went viral and issued a statement saying it never intended to post that policy. However, weeks later, hashtag boycott PayPal went viral again. This time, the post claimed that PayPal reinstated a misinformation fine after the criticism died down. But the proof people are citing? It's actually nothing new. Verify used the Internet Archive tool The Wayback Machine to confirm PayPal's user agreement has prohibited providing misleading information since at least 2015 and allowed the company to take money in damages from merchant accounts for violating that policy. So, no. PayPal did not reinstate a $2,500 fine for spreading misinformation. Other payment companies like Square and its subsidiary Cash App also have similar policies that prohibit misleading or deceptive activity. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Now, Halloween might be over, but spooky claims are still spreading, like this one about spiders. We know spiders love spending time in our homes, but a common urban legend says some of them end up in our mouths. Yeah, Brandon Lewis looks into whether we really eat spiders while we sleep.
Does it feel like you keep finding spider webs in your home no matter how many times you clean? In a 2016 study, researchers found spiders in every home they checked. In fact, one is probably looking at you right now. Verify viewer Carrie emailed us to ask about a claim she heard that humans end up swallowing a few spiders every year while sleeping. So let's verify. Do humans regularly swallow spiders while sleeping? Our sources are the Burke Museum in Seattle, Floyd Shockley with the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, and Michael Bruce, founder of thesleepdoctor.com. The idea is that if we sleep with our mouths open, then a spider might walk inside, causing us to swallow it unconsciously.
As near as we can recall, it was first published in a book on insect and spider folklore back in 1954 was the first mention of it. Then it proliferated over the years.
Our sources say there was never any scientific evidence that this happens.
Spiders are not going to walk into basically a dark, moist cave where all that's coming out of it is carbon dioxide. That doesn't really make a lot of sense just from an etymology standpoint.
Bruce says 9 in 10 people sleep with their mouths closed, meaning the spiders can't get in.
If you're sleeping with your mouth open, you're probably snoring and the vibration is going to scare them away.
Put simply, the Burke Museum writes, for a sleeping person to swallow even one live spider would involve so many highly unlikely circumstances that for practical purposes, we can rule out the possibility. No such case is on formal record anywhere in scientific or medical literature. So, no, humans do not regularly swallow spiders while sleeping. This is an urban legend. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is the only time in life that I've ever been happy that I actually snore. Praise be. Oh, did you hear that? That sound means it's time for one last Did You Know before we go. Did you know that voters started using absentee ballots during the Civil War? It's true. During the Civil War, when Republican candidate Abraham Lincoln ran against Democrat George McClellan in 1864, 14 states sent registrars into the battlefields so that soldiers could vote the typical way, with a pencil and paper. But 6 additional states allowed soldiers to mail their ballots back home. And now every state offers some form of absentee voting, but in some states, voters need a valid reason, such as an illness or living temporarily outside of the state, to request a ballot by mail. We have more information on absentee ballots on our website. Just go to verifythis.com and search absentee ballot. On behalf of our entire Verify team, I hope you enjoyed our show and that you learned something new today. I'm your host, Ariane Till. We'll see you back here next week with more verified answers to your questions.